What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of What's on Kickstarter. Today, we're going to be taking a look at some of the great, good, and not so good decks that came out on Kickstarter in this past week. Oh, man, I gotta say, though, see, this is a small week. It should be an interesting one. There's some really good decks out there. It was actually hard-pressed to find, a needs help deck, which I think is an encouraging sign.
That's good.
But, of course, there's always one. There's always going to be one. Yeah. So...
But, we'll look forward to the day that there is.
Dude,
that'd be an interesting day.
100%. I will be ecstatic the day there's no needs help decks. So,
I mean, I won't be, because then we won't have anybody to pick on. But
there you go. But before we jump into it, let's take a quick word from our sponsor here.
Join us as we celebrate the marvelous and fascinating things that surround us, all in the palm of your hands. You will be mesmerized. Follow us on Instagram at Marvelous Decks and at marvelousdecks.com.
MuseumKits.com strives to bring you museum-quality prints of your favorite art into your home. They've recently teamed up with Lorenzo of Stockholm 17 to bring you the award-winning House of the Rising Spades court cards on archival quality prints. Make sure to check those out at museumkits.com/S17. You can find the link right down below.
Below.
All right, so let's check out this week's great deck. We have the Shadows of London by Marianne Larsen. I gotta say, man, no surprise, this is a great campaign. Marianne does a phenomenal job, not only building out a story for the theme of her deck, but putting it down in text for the campaign. I think she always really makes an engrossing and exciting campaign, so I'm excited to see this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, her with Isolated Thunderstorm, they do a great job.
Absolutely. So let's check this out here. We have a nice little story being told here. We roll right into the highlights. Printed by TWPCC with their classic finish. The one thing I would like to see up there would be just a fulfillment note. Maybe something along the lines of self-fulfilled, or whoever they're ending up using to sell their stuff. I'm pretty sure they're going to probably be self-fulfilling. And dude, we look into the decks. The thing that stands out to me, and the thing that I love about this, is usually I wouldn't be such a big fan of such dark imagery, but it fits the theme so perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, their brand is very dark. Yeah. Like, super dark. Yeah. And, their stuff is so fun and creative. Complete opposite of my style, because I'm not into the dark side of things, but it's beautiful.
I will be honest too, man. That Moonshine edition looks gorgeous.
You just like it because it says Moonshine.
And it's like, I like the contrasting of that matte black with the shiny gold. I think that's what does it, man. It looks so good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this looks like it's going to be great. And the one thing I have to say, too, I'm excited to see people using TWPCC. I love their stock. I think it feels and handles great. So even for a collector's deck, this is going to look gorgeous and be playable as well from a stock point of view.
And it's interesting because normally they print with MPCC, right?
Yeah. So good to see a transition there. Dope brick boxes.
The one thing I do notice about their decks is they frequently use very dark seals.
Yeah.
And you can't really see the numbers all the time. And I wish they could just lighten it up a little bit.
Yeah, that would be, especially because it's such a dark theme to it, having something a little bit of a contrast there would be great. I have to say, too, one of the things that stands out to me is really great about this is Marianne Larsen had a previous deck. They're still available. Always include previous decks that you have left over on your campaign, because people who are first finding you are always going to want to pick up previous work. This is a great way to move any leftover stock. I love seeing creators do this. I think it makes a lot of sense. So the one thing I will say, too, how to apply the add-on section is really great. I'm still a firm believer, and I think Marianne did a good job with this, of including the add-ons before you get into it. I would have liked to maybe see the how to apply the add-on section before you get into the add-ons. But I think that's, 6 of one, half dozen of another. I think it really works well on either side of it. But I think if you give the instruction ahead of time, once people see stuff, they're immediately able to go add it instead of having to go through the whole list of items and then be like, well, how do I add these things? So
yeah, I would have liked to have seen it before.
Yeah, I think it makes a little more sense. But again, with this being such a new and recent feature, I think there's still a lot of room to figure out what does and doesn't work about how to approach add-ons in a campaign now. Love the stretch goals. Love the visuality of the stretch goals here. She really did a good job about it.
How much are you looking at here per deck?
Per deck, we are looking at 26 shipped.
Wow.
So that's a little pricey, I'll be honest. I think, and it looks like
for a standard deck.
And for the majority of it, it's shipping. It's $16 for the deck plus $10 shipping. So
yeah, that's a lot.
This is one thing where I think, you know, potentially using a fulfillment company might have been able to reduce shipping, even if you did a split situation where, like, if you're in Europe, you do European, and then you use some like Gamblers or Murphy or Art of Play for US fulfillment. That way it cuts a little bit of cost for you. Yeah, because $10 shipping.
A lot.
Yeah.
$4 would have brought it into, you know, because now it's in
it's starting to get in like foil territory.
It's metallic ink.
Yeah.
It's metallic ink.
Yeah,
right?
it's metallic ink, but it's starting to get into foil territory, and it looks like metallic ink is a stretch goal, actually.
The unveiling, unlocking. Okay, so they don't have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stretch goal was unlocked, so it is metallic.
Yeah.
We don't know what the next stretch goal is. They won't say
Yeah.
it. So
that is the one area that's a little bit of a detraction for me. Yeah. That being said, too, I love the fact that Marianne puts a little bit of a biography into the bottom as well. It really ties in the story to make it even more personal. So great job there. She does phenomenal work with this, and I like the fact that this is a long risks and challenges. Wow. But I think it's important. I think it's super important to really address risks and challenges. Since so many campaigns try and wrap it up in 2 or 3 sentences, it's really important to address it. So there we go. Handling fulfillment process myself, so confirmed our suspicion there. But again, that's sometimes where that price really adds up. But great job on this campaign. Good luck. And for this week's good deck, we're taking a look at the Dinosaur playing cards deck plus Amber Dice from Enrica Martiné.
Dude, look at that. Look at that underneath that. Look at underneath the title.
A sight for Sora.
A sight for
that is actually
Sora.
Hilarious. That is
brilliant.
really funny.
Good
and
job,
a nice,
Enrica.
nice little witty capture right there. A good way to get attention. The reason I'll say this campaign is a good campaign, not a great campaign, right off the bat, I think there was so much potential for a story around dinosaurs. Everyone loves dinosaurs, and you can build on that nostalgia factor to really draw people in. All things considered, you take a look, and this is about the extent of the text in the campaign, and the majority of it actually focuses on the dice, not the deck. We do have a little bit of a deck breakdown here with the features, but to me, it's almost a little bit redundant. We know that most decks have 40 standard cards and 12 court cards and 2 jokers. It's an interesting kind of approach there. They also include 6 exclusive gaff cards.
Which is interesting because this is a collector's deck, and no magician is going to use this deck. So to have gaff cards is kind of a little not intuitive.
Yeah, which it really is interesting to see, and yeah, it's an interesting approach. Again, I can understand the appeal of trying to get more magicians interested in it, but again, this really is a collector's deck. And like you said, you know, and this is something we've said a lot in the past, is focusing on the market you know is interested in your campaign. Here, like, I would not be focusing on magicians or cardists. I would be focusing solely on collectors, and I would be building out the story of why this is so important that collectors get this, why they should want this. Remember the time as a kid when you loved dinosaurs and every kid wanted to be a paleontologist and blah 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 whatever. Like, build out that story. That's what I'm saying. Like, every kid loves dinosaurs. Like, build out that story. I think from that point of view, there's a missed kind of opportunity there to really draw attention to the deck and the story behind it itself. That being said, the artwork is dope. It's a good looking deck. They'll be printing with ivory graphics and self-fulfilling, so they have the information there. The one thing that I will say is both of those pieces of information are in the risks and challenges, which I don't think are the first place they should be seen. Those should have been included in the features up top. And then we get into the price point. And this is an area where we see a lot of feedback coming frequently on these campaigns. the price point on this, $36 per deck. So all things considered, this is a pretty standard deck. We haven't seen any advertisement of any sort of metallic ink or foil or embossing on the tuck or anything that would lead us to believe there's additional cost. At $21 for the deck, that is probably a 5x markup from cost. You figure they're printing 1,000 decks. Even at a smaller print house, you're probably looking at somewhere between $3 to $6 per deck. You know, USPCC comes in for 1,000 decks around $3.30 for a standard deck. Figure a smaller print house may have a little bit of a higher price point, but you're not looking at $10 a deck. So $21 for the raw deck and then $10 shipping on top of it ends up being a pretty pricey deck for what it is.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think from the shipping point of view, and this goes with this, you know, we said this with the previous campaign as well, looking into potentially US fulfillment or US backers to help ease that price point is also crucial here, because this could have brought this down to a $27 deck instead of a $36 deck, which I still think would have been above the price point, but you would have saved some on the shipping side.
Right.
And then the other thing I think we should point out for this one too is the goal itself. For an $1,000 print run, $41.50 is a very low goal. It's almost excluding the idea of shipping, and shipping on these campaigns is very expensive. Frequently, shipping 1,000 decks is going to cost you almost as much as it does to print the decks. Like, it's always worthwhile to note that it's better to include a high shipping estimate into your goal so that you're not eating shipping cost out of pocket. So, something to consider there. But I dig the deck. Good luck with it, Enrica.
Yeah, good luck.
And for today's Needs Help deck, we have Succubus-themed playing cards. Off the bat, 4 backers, $200 goal. I'm looking at this prototype here, and it honestly looks like it was printed by USPCC because the registration is terrible. But
or printed by Canon
Epson printer. I gotta say too, I think it's great that they put a little video together, but like this is not worth it. Yeah, like you would have been better off with the static image there. Ultimately, a video, while does help campaigns, it's when the video is actually about the campaign and it adds value. To this, it was literally a TikTok video that they repurposed. I would say a static image there is much better than a little video like this. Getting into it, story. So, for fun, I took a picture of my wife and built a deck of playing cards around it with her as a succubus. Okay. I have since decided to update the artwork and make it available to as many people as possible for as cheap as I can. Here's the deal. Currently, I'm setting a target of $200 or approximately 15 decks at a singular unit price. I like the straightforward approach to this. We know it's a short campaign. $200 makes sense. That being said, I still think even at a $200 goal, show more of the cards, explain more of the story, get into the risks and challenges significantly. The greatest challenge is always getting the word out there. 100% false. Dude, and here's the thing. You've created campaigns in the past. Let's go see what you've created in the past.
Canceled.
You've gotten some backers, dice elements. Some decks have been done, funding ain't successful. So, like, here's my thing. If you've tried to create in the past and it hasn't succeeded, and you think that the artwork has merit, then it's the sales pitch. These campaigns are sales pitches. And right here, you've already kind of made me not interested because it's a very personal deck to you. It's about your wife. I'd almost leave...
Yeah, I wouldn't have even put that in there.
100% agree.
I would have just said,
you know,
leave that out.
Substitute your wife for the female form. Talk about the artwork. Talk about how you came up with this idea. Even if it's not as detailed as including the fact that your wife is the muse of this, that's perfectly fine. But I think ultimately, this is still a sales pitch. And the sales pitch here just falls short. Show more pictures of the cards. Show a better picture of the back design. Granted, you know, you have prototypes. I would have actually liked to see a real picture of the back design instead of the digital artwork there, because I just don't think it does it justice. It's very small.
I can't even see what it is, to be honest with you. I see a hand, that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, this could be a very abstract deck, and it's interesting, but I think there's really a lot of things that would have made this better. Ultimately, showing off a prototype that is significantly skewed on the print is not a reassuring sign.
How much is it?
Let's go see. $16. So price point, I can't even fault you on. $16 is on point. You're going to be eating a lot at that 15 deck goal for $16 each, unless you're getting them printed for $10, which is pretty low for a 15 deck run.
I mean, you can go through Zazzle and boom.
Yeah, and like, so that's the other thing to consider here. Who's going to be printing these? Who's going to be fulfilling them? Are they Zazzle decks? If they're Zazzle decks, they're no longer playable. This makes it a collector's deck. I
mean, you can play poker with them, for sure.
Just shuffle like trash.
Yeah, I mean, the market that we're in, they're not usable. But you could use them for poker and games if you want to have your friends over and use a deck of cards that has your wife on the back, then that's cool.
The one thing I would say about this is just take it back to the drawing board. If you truly believe in this project, build it out in a way that's going to be appealing to the masses. Don't just throw it out there haphazardly and say, hey, I'm going to see who else wants this. If you want it, cool. If not, whatever. That's the vibe I get on this. And I think that's the biggest thing that needs help here is in order for you to sell something, you need to be confident in it. And that confidence doesn't come through here. And I really think...
Yeah, I like the background right there.
Carpet?
The idea is memory of this person who left this world too soon. Both husband and her kids having to find themselves again. So it's interesting, like, build more on the story that's going to pull people in, that maybe they can connect with it, you know? Interesting.
All right, so...
You know?
Yeah, no, I mean, and I get that.
So it's there, it's the inkling of the story is there, but make that the story rather than just in parentheses.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, like, going back on what we said earlier about not including your wife in it, if the whole premise behind this, and again, sorry for your loss, is that your wife has passed, then focus on your wife of it, but make it so it's not just a footnote. Like Steve said, bring that up to the top. Really make that...
Yeah, because that's huge. That totally changes things.
It really does. And I think from that point of view, though, you can build an emotionally capturing story based off of your personal struggle here. And I think that's important to make people aware of. I think, you know, there's obviously a lot of emotion and heartfelt feeling behind this. Bring it to the campaign, and it will definitely help get more eyes on this campaign.
Yeah, that part that's in parentheses is the most important part of this.
Yeah, and it's added as an afterthought, and I think that's probably doing a major disservice to the campaign itself. So
100%. Good luck.
Good luck. And let's see what else we have this week. Coming up as a great deck, we have the Bastet Volume 2 Egyptian Cat Enamel Pin and Golden playing cards. So this is actually a combo campaign here with pins and decks. And it looks like it's actually the V1 deck, but with a little bit of added flair to it with foil. So we wanted to touch on this one. It's a very...
On the deck or on the tuck box?
It looks like on the cards as well. Full gold foiling and gilding playing cards.
Okay, so they're gilded now too.
So a little bit of an added flair to the cards themselves. But as you can see, the pins are the main focus of this campaign. And so the cards don't come into it until later down here. Limited to 600 sets. Yeah, I think it's a good-looking campaign. Throws together nice little features here.
How much are the decks?
Let's see. We are looking at... curious.
Interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if they're only add-ons.
There you get you have to get the collector's box.
Let's see. Collector's box is $35. One Bastet,
An enamel pin, one deck.
One pin, one deck, one Vault of Bastet Collector Hexa box packaging, one Seal of Bastet limited edition numbered certificate. So, all things considered, $35 for a gilded foil deck and a pin. Not bad. If this is your style, it's cool. I don't know how much crossover there is between pin collecting and deck collecting. That's one area that I would be curious about, and I'd love to find out after the campaign how much traction there is. What are we looking at?
I want to know who's doing the deck, who's printing it.
Well, the deck's already been printed, so all of that information would probably be on the previous one, but wouldn't hurt to reiterate.
Yeah, but I don't know if the original one had gold foil on the deck, did it?
Good question. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
They do link to the other campaign here, which I think is good, but I do think it would be helpful to bring in those specs of the deck into this one as well.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, good luck.
Good luck. And another needs help deck this week, the Sacris Forum. I have to say, this campaign, while it has some text to it, just doesn't have a lot built out here. A couple things stand out to me off the bat. Using stock images with the watermark still on it, probably not the best idea. The other thing that stands out is court cards without faces on them can be very hit or miss. While I understand the need to bring sacred geometry into the whole idea of the cards, it may be a better idea to use semi-standard courts and tie it into their garments versus removing the courts completely. I think that would have been something that would have made it more appealing, especially if you're looking to target any sort of like use case like poker or Magic for this. You know, people are going to want to have easily recognizable court cards.
Yeah. And it's very similar to the Fibs deck.
Yeah. Yeah, construction is built out of appreciation for patterns in nature. Very cool. The other thing to me that stands out is who's going to be printing, who's going to be fulfilling, and $10 price point. Well, I think that's awesome. I don't know that it's feasible depending on how many decks you're looking to print. 4,500 goal makes me think you're probably leaning towards 1,000 print run. But it would be good to see how many you're going to be printing. That goal is going to be very low if you're looking at printing and shipping. At $10 a deck, printed and shipped, you're basically breaking even best case.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, $10 is dope if you want to do that deal. Yeah. But yeah, you know.
That could end up being very costly to you, and that's one thing I would highly recommend considering here is redo your math and double check that a 4,500 goal with $10 shipped isn't going to make you lose money on this campaign, because ultimately you want a campaign to be break even or better. So good luck. All right, so it's everyone back in this week. Steve,
what are you back?
We're going to find out after we take a quick word from our sponsor here.
All right.
Join us as we celebrate the marvelous and fascinating things that surround us, all in the palm of your hands. You will be mesmerized. Follow us on Instagram at MarvelousDecks and at MarvelousDecks.com.
MuseumKits.com strives to bring you museum-quality prints of your favorite playing card artwork to your home. They've recently teamed up with Lorenzo of Stockholm 17 to bring you his award-winning House of the Rising Spades court cards in beautiful archival quality prints. Make sure to check them out at museumkits.com/S17 in the description below.
That's exciting.
No doubt, man. They're dope prints, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
So who you backing?
So this week, I'm probably just backing Shadows of London, to be very honest, man. That's the one that really stood out to me from a collector's point of view, hitting the marks. Beautiful looking deck. Marianne Larsen does spectacular work. How about you, man?
Right on. I'm keeping my money, bro.
All right. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Not every deck is made for every person, and that's one thing you got to consider.
True.
But let us know down below in the comments what you guys are planning on backing this week. We always love to see what everyone is backing. Steve, and now the fun part. Are you ready? I mean, this is all the fun part, but
I am ready.
Designated fun part here. Are you ready for this week's fun campaign?
What do you got for me? I want to see what you got, bro.
This is actually a funny one because I'm more about the idea behind it than anything else. I'll preface this with the fact that I do not drink coffee or tea, but my fun campaign this week is related to coffee and tea. And I think it's very cool. I like the creativity behind it. And so this week, my fun campaign is the Jogo Coffee Brewing Straw. Now,
that's a brilliant name, by the way. Brilliant.
It really is. The one thing I will have to say is I don't like the idea that it says it's a coffee brewing straw, because the straw itself does not, in fact, brew the coffee. But this relies on old world methodology of brewing coffee or teas by just pouring hot water over the ground or the leaf, and then you use a filtered straw to actually extract the coffee and tea without getting all of the sediment. I actually really like the
a
idea.
la yerba mate.
Yeah, I mean, it's a timeless tool here, but built for the modern day. So stainless steel, actual fine mesh to it. It's really cool looking, man. And again, like, if I drank coffee these days, it seems like a convenient way to do coffee on the go. This is something where if you're out camping and you don't have like a stovetop percolator pot, you could just boil water, pour it on top of your coffee, and you're good to go. You just use this straw. And the cool...
It's definitely great for mobile purposes,
Yeah,
you know?
no, without a doubt. I mean, even if you're looking for something new around the house, I think what's really cool about it too, and they get into the cleaning aspect of it, it unscrews, you pop it off, you spray some water through it, you're good to go. Simple, clean, heat-regulated tip so you don't burn yourself, which I think is brilliant because, you know, they actually show some pictures farther down where it explains kind of the history of this. Well, was it up, the history of it?
I don't know. This campaign's so long. I don't know. I think it's down.
Here we go. So this is like, here you go. The
right there,
old
the
school. Yeah.
Bombeel.
So the old school one here, the interesting thing about it, though, is the mouthpiece is still metal. So if you put that in boiling liquid, there's a very good chance you're going to scald your lips on this metal tool.
Here's the cool thing, though. When you're drinking, you know, mate from a gourd, you usually use pretty much the one on the left, which is, you know, most people know it's called the Bombeel. And that's the fun part about drinking it, is you kind of burn your lips a little bit, but you know it's worth it because the mate just soothes your soul.
And for me, I'm down with the fact that they have a heat-regulated tip to make sure I don't burn my lips.
It. I like it.
And honestly, I think from the price point too, $21 shipped. This is something small, lightweight, and kind of cool that you can bring on a camping trip, or if you want to just try a new way of making your morning coffee. I like that, and I think the price point is on point. I love the fact too that they have the product timeline. This is still something I wish we see more of in the playing card world, but yeah.
Kind of impossible.
Yeah, it's a little bit tough, but here's the thing. You say estimated, and it does a world of wonders for you. So,
yeah.
Hey,
for sure.
Good luck
Pretty
to the Jogo coffee brewing straw. Dude, I might pick one of these up myself, no lie.
You have fun with that.
So, Steve.
I'll just use my Bombeel that I have.
There you go. See, I don't have a Bombeel, so I need to get one, my man. So, I am ready for Steve's campaign here. Are you guys all ready? I gotta say...
Let's hit him with it.
Let's check this out. The Norskin, a lamp that truly understands you. I love this. I love it. I love it for so many different reasons because it purely is Steve. It's a lamp. Steve likes his lamps. This is lamp number 2 for anyone keeping count.
The other one wasn't just a lamp, though. Come on. It was more of a fountain.
Oh, man, that makes this lamp number 3.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, my God, dude. We've only been doing this for 5 weeks. I think you have an obsession with lamps.
Bro, they need to stop making cool lamps.
Oh, my God. So, Steve, what about this caught your eye, man?
I mean, look at it. It's an LED light. It's super chill. One of the things that I really, really like, so it comes in 3 different sizes. You can get it for a desk, which I would not, you know, a nightstand. I would never get the small version because I don't want to block a cement on my nightstand. Yeah. But I really like if it was in the living room. You know, I love that concrete, excuse me. I love that concrete look and the fact that you can get it in a different color, which if you scroll down, you can kind of get different colored concrete, which could go with, you know, your style.
Yeah, look at that. You can get like a nice green or a blue or a purple. And I like the wood variations as well.
Yeah, so those, you know, those kind of cap the light itself. So it is a really cool piece. Comes in a couple different sizes, but it's a little pricey. But you can't really knock price when you're all about style.
I mean, the thing is, too, to consider with this is, what are we looking at price point wise?
It's $240, I think.
$417.
But that's the big one.
Yeah, or $477. So, and I think there's a lot to it. It's obviously a smart light. There's built-in alarm stuff to it. It talks about how it uses, you know, sunrise to light slowly brighten to help you wake up. So there's a lot.
Wake up in the morning.
Yeah, there's a lot of value to it beyond just being a light. I don't know if it's...
I love that picture. I love that picture right there where they're eating and it's like in the middle of the floor.
It is also, the big one is huge. Like, I think...
Oh, it's big.
I think for me, like, the middle one, the S, is where I'd go.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how big your ceilings are. You know, if it's going to be in the corner, it's really cool to have the big one.
It's 5 feet tall.
Yeah, I mean, but if you think about it, that's not too big. You know, it's kind of your standard lamp. Standard lamps might be actually more than that.
Yeah, but like you don't have light going up the whole thing. It's usually like a floor
Yeah.
lamp with a bulb up top. It's interesting.
But this is highly dimmable,
Yeah.
any color. You know, your typical LED structure that you can control the light, control the color.
You can still get the super early bird, but the medium size one for $321.
Heck yeah.
I mean, listen, it's interesting. I think it's really clever, but yeah, that's a pricey price point there.
It is.
Yeah. And
Style though, man. You're paying for style.
you are, and it is stylish. It's very modern. Yeah.
This is the these are the red bottoms of wall lamps, buddy.
Here's the scary thing, and probably not by a factor of 10. So red bottoms of floor lamps are probably coming in at about $4,000 each. So
I know.
But yeah, no, it's a very artistic lamp, and I think if it fits your motif at home, it's cool. So
Yeah.
good luck. Oh man, I gotta say, for a short week, there were some interesting decks, interesting lamp, interesting coffee straw. You know, you can't go wrong with all this stuff.
I mean, is it actually a coffee straw, or is it just a reinvented, like, bombeel with a more vapor-looking, cool aspect of it?
So the functionality is different looking at it, but
Yeah.
gotta get with the times. Is a post-it
though.
note
It is
any
cool,
different
though.
than a piece of paper with glue on it, my man?
No, dude, 100%. 100%.
That is what innovation is.
I totally agree.
Yeah. No, and I dig it, but I'm curious, everyone out there, let us know down below, what are you planning on backing not only in cards this week, but also outside of cards? What caught your eye? Is it a lamp, a coffee straw, a board game? We're always curious to see what everyone else is backing. I think the people who back Kickstarter, it's easy to get caught in a niche, but it's always fun to see what else is out there. So drop a comment down
I
below.
agree.
Let us know what you enjoy, and don't forget to make sure to like, share, and subscribe.
Ding! Peace.